Pokémon, one of if not the biggest selling franchise in the world. These unique little creatures whose whole purpose it is to fight each other for your entertainment is a unique concept that took the world by storm. It's a great video game, it has a great anime, lots of merchandise to buy from, and of course who can forget the trading card game, the main thing that Pokemon is known for. The cards that had parents thinking that they were sent by the devil himself. Yeah, I'm not joking, I knew some kids who couldn't collect Pokemon cards because their parents thought that Pokemon was evil or something. I have no idea how or why some people came up to these conclusions, but the fact that people, grown adults, believed it was just wild.
Pokemon world is a world of the demonic, of the satanic. But while you might not take it quite seriously, I assure you that demons take it quite seriously.
But I had cool parents. I grew up with Pokemon. I had the Pokemon plushies, the stickers, the DVDs, the games, and even collected some cards myself. I never had any special cards besides this tangerine dragon looking thing that I traded for a silly band, but that was about it really. A lot of people enjoy this hobby. They go to their local store, buy a card pack or two in hopes of getting something good to add to their collection. People have folders filled with Pokemon cards. They even have sections dedicated to a single pocket monster. By the way, that's what Pokemon means, Pokemon Pocket Monster. I didn't know that until a couple years later, so you can imagine my shock when I heard that for the first time. But it was fun collecting these cards. Some kids in my middle school had a collection of the exact same card. Not the Pokemon, the card. It was one of those things that brought everyone together. A fun, harmless hobby that anybody could take a part in. Skip forward to today, and the hobby's an absolute mess. Hey guys, Mouth of Talks here. Just real quick, it wasn't just the Prismatic Evolution set, it was also the 151 Blooming Waters Premium Collection set. So that's pretty much it. It's gonna make more sense later, trust me. Recently, they released a brand new Prismatic Evolution set. A set that revolves around Eevee's evolutions. It's a nice looking set of cards and it's a great addition to those who love collecting Pokemon, especially those who love Eevee, the Pokemon that was supposed to replace Pikachu. It's a nice set that gives you a chance to obtain a pretty neat looking card, and many Pokemon fans looked forward into getting these cards. January 17, 2025, Costco started to sell the Prismatic Evolution set. They also set a world record on the fastest sale ever. The second they opened those doors to the public, people went ballistic. Grown men immediately ran for the sets. Not a single child was seen in the videos that showed this chaos. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a Pokemon fan. Now some of you might be too innocent and then assume, oh, maybe they just love the hobby that much, to the point where they're gonna camp outside of the store as if it was a Black Friday sale or a release of a new video game in the mid-2000s. But the truth is that these cards are being treated like an investment. See, this is a limited production run, meaning that there's a finite amount of cards to get, meaning that they hold value, similar to anything that's worth collecting. Sneakers, cars, coins, comic books, vinyl records, baseball cards, or any collectible that has a limited run tends to hold resale value. With that said, there are some Pokemon cards that are worth more than a house. So what these people do is they line up to the store that's gonna release these cards and they try to get as many as they can in hopes to resell them. I have seen so many videos of people fighting at Costco just to get their hands on the Prismatic Evolution set. And I'm not talking about a Pokemon fight where they whip out the Game Boys and have Pikachu beat Charmander. We're talking fight. We're talking pushing, kicking, you name it. Whatever Jake Paul and Mike Tyson did, these people did the exact opposite. They were doing whatever it took to get their hands on these cards. Like goblins from Clash of Clans, just run and grab whatever they could, all for the hopes of reselling them to an actual collector. This is bad for so many reasons. The hobby used to be fun. It wasn't treated like an investment, but rather like a hobby. It was something that people could actually enjoy. Little kids and teenagers, the target demographic for these trading cards, were the ones buying them back in the day. And some adults did buy them, sure, but they weren't treating it like a full-time job. It was just a hobby that anybody could enjoy. But thanks to the rising popularity of Pokemon, people got invested into these trading cards, which was good for the community. You know, they get to share their hobby with more people, but unfortunately for them, this means that collectors were gonna hoard anything they could, and if it's hyped up or rare, they want it, and they'll pay any amount of money to get their hands on their Pokemon cards. And this is where the scalpers come in. They notice the high demand for a specific set or card, and because most of them have a limited production run, this means that there's a specific amount of cards out there to get, making them more valuable. And since you have no clue what you're buying, this makes it a huge gamble like any other investment. And fun fact, there's now a machine that lets you see right through the packs. Like, you can see exactly what cards a pack has without ever opening it or tampering with the package. And when people first heard of this, the Pokemon card resellers were so worried that their trading card economy would collapse. Like a real estate investor during the crash of 2008, this was gonna destroy their Pokemon card empire. Just something funny that I wanted to share. Anyways, so the scalpers buy as many of the sets or cards as they can in hopes that someone out there is gonna pay a hefty price for them, which eventually someone will. The people who typically pay these insane prices are most likely content creators whose livelihood relies on the hobby. So in order to stay relevant, they have to cough up whatever's being asked for the cards. You either show the people what they want to see or they'll go elsewhere. This makes it harder for your average collector because not everyone has a crazy 3-figure or more amount of money to pay for the cards they like. Some of these scalpers even have stores that sell nothing but collectibles like Funko Pops, Pokemon cards, Hot Wheels, figures, Legos, and so much more. Quick story, I've seen a post not too long ago actually where a store owner and his wife show a picture of them buying all the Pokemon sets from like a Costco or Sam's or whatever it was. They bought every single card set that was available in the store to then resell at their store. And the internet got so mad they decided to bombard their business with 1-star reviews, because what they basically did is they took all the available cards and nobody else could get them for a cheaper price. They made a monopoly of Pokemon cards, if you will. So it comes to show just how far some of these people are willing to go, and nobody likes a scalper. Everybody hates them. I mean, who would sympathize with someone who ruins a hobby for everyone else? The scalpers, reasonably so, are treated like scum of the earth. They are villainized by everyone in their respected communities. No matter where you go, scalpers are there to turn your hobby into their Wall Street. And this is why they have such a terrible reputation, no matter who you ask. But what a lot of people don't understand is, if they don't buy from scalpers, then the scalpers would not even exist. Think about it. What scalper is gonna buy a boatload of cards or shoes or whatever other collectible there is out there if they know nobody's gonna buy? I blame the people who buy from the scalpers more than the scalpers themselves. Look, don't get me wrong. I don't like scalpers, but when there's a demand, supply will follow. And since people are throwing their money at their direction, who cares what everyone else thinks? This is why grown men have no shame in fighting over a toy, because they know someone out there is gonna pay whatever price they ask, so it makes the struggle worth the fight. Literally. And this is not gonna stop anytime soon. People say, oh, they should put a purchase limit so that other people can get a chance to buy the cards too. Guess what? That's never gonna happen. I mean, it did. Yes, Costco did put a purchase limit on the cards. Some people say it was 5, some people say it was 10 per person, but it doesn't even matter. What company is foolish enough to say, no, I will not take your money? Like, you know how silly that sounds? A company's priority is profits, and if they could sell hundreds of cards in less than 10 minutes, so be it. Who cares if everyone else is unhappy? As long as they get their Benjamins, they're gonna let people do this. It's the sad truth, but it only makes sense from a business perspective. As much as I hate this, it makes sense. No wonder this has been going on for decades. No wonder people are getting frustrated with their hobbies. There's always a scalper every single time. But there is good news. There is some good news. The Pokemon company did actually address this over on Twitter, or X to be politically correct. We're aware that some fans may express difficulties purchasing certain Pokemon trading card game, Scarlet and Violet Prismatic Evolution's products at launch due to high demand, impacting availability. Yeah, it's not so much demand, rather shameless greed. But this tweet, or X, or post, or whatever you want to call it, is a speck of hope. Hope that they're gonna put a stop to this mess. But like I said, what company's dumb enough to reject money? If someone offers to buy your whole inventory the second you open your store, you're gonna say yes. I mean, who wouldn't? But I genuinely hope they make a system where they allow collectors to fairly buy these trading cards. Otherwise, scalpers are gonna be their only clientele. I did make a video talking about Hot Wheels and how they falled victim to the exact same problem, but the difference between Hot Wheels and Pokemon cards is that you know what you're gonna buy. If Hot Wheels did the exact same thing as Pokemon and they were kept in mystery boxes, I promise you a lot of people are gonna be turned away from the hobby because this guy keeps harassing the employees until they let him buy every single Hot Wheel they have in stock. But Pokemon has always done this, where you never know what you're gonna get. On one hand, it's fun, it's a nice little gimmick, you never know what your collection is gonna consist of, but on the other, you have people treating it like a stock market. It's a massive gamble, especially to the average collector, as they might not even have hundreds of dollars to burn in hopes of getting a decent card. I've seen pictures and videos of people taking a tiny scale to weigh out the collectible cards. They do this because the good cards are usually heavier than your standard Pokemon card. This is a clear demonstration as to why it's harder for the average collector, because all they're left with is scraps. The scalpers take any and everything that's slightly good and they just leave out the garbage to the rest of the collectors. And when collectors buy a bunch of no good cards, guess what? They're just gonna assume that Pokemon is scamming their money and they're gonna go elsewhere. They're just gonna leave the hobby. So you can either collect trash or you can leave the hobby. It's a pretty easy choice if you ask me. No matter what a company does, scalpers are always gonna find a way to make an extra dollar at the expense of everyone else. They'll do it as a child cries for their Pokemon cards, like taking candy from a baby. No remorse, no sympathy, just like Wall Street. The Pokemon Company needs to fix this, especially because their main fans consist of children. Children who are never gonna get to enjoy the hobby as long as it's treated like an investment. No matter where they look, no matter how many times they try, they are no match to some 40-year-old balding man who has access to a credit card, a car, and free time. Soon enough, the only people that are gonna be buying Pokemon cards are grown adults who could care less about the hobby. Because of the Prismatic Evolution mask, the Pokemon Company is gonna reprint the set in hopes that on February 7th, 2025, things are gonna look less like a Black Friday. I guess this also means that the Evolution cards aren't gonna be as rare or as valuable as one thought, since now there's more of them. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I used Pokemon cards to explain inflation. Will this plan work? Probably not. Let's be for real here. Grown men are still gonna buy everything they can. They'll even hire random people to buy the sets on their behalf if they do set a purchase limit. Hey look, here's a quick dollar idea from yours truly. Go up to a scalper and offer to buy the sets on their behalf for like 20 bucks or so. Trust me, they are that desperate. But let's remain faithful and hope that grown men act like civilized adults before Costco decides to stop selling Pokemon cards like Target. Yes, Target had to stop selling Pokemon cards because, again, grown men couldn't act like civilized adults. They act like wild chimpanzees who fight over the last crumb of food. Not even Pokemon fight as brutally as they do. They're majestic creatures whose level of sadness must be studied because it's unbelievably beautiful. Honestly, I feel more bad for the employees than the children who couldn't get the Pokemon cards, because at least the children won't have to clean the mess that the adults leave behind. Not to mention the employees get treated like garbage when these things happen. Like, once the chaos starts, you either get out of the way or you get hurt by people who lack self-respect. I can't express this enough. After seeing videos of grown men fighting over Pokemon cards, my self-esteem went through the roof. Like, standing near these people makes you look good. Do you guys understand that? Because at least you know how to behave. If any scalpers are watching this, I would gladly pay for you to be my wingman, because the videos alone give me secondhand embarrassment. Again, I hope the Pokemon Company does something about this, because this is just, it's getting too ridiculous. Really, it is. Also, here's the Pokemon card that my little cousin bought me. I don't know what it is, but I'm scared of it. It looks like an Eevee touched every single crystal at once and evolved into this abomination. Not even a crystal, it's more like it touched the elephant's foot in Chernobyl and mutated into this Dr. Seuss Chupacabra thing. But thank you, Daniel. I will treasure the Pokemon card you traded your Gyarados GX for. I was gonna end the video right there, but I'm just gonna ask, do any of you have any scalper stories? Because I remember I couldn't get a PlayStation 5 when they were first released because the amount of people I saw taking like 10 PlayStations at once. Soulless greed, I tell you. Like, they would load up the consoles on a brand new BMW SUV. So it's not like they were desperate for a quick buck. Like, they just had no shame in taking all the consoles. Like, I was genuinely upset no other company was doing anything about it, but, you know, what company is gonna say no to money, right? Hey guys, Mouth of Talks here. I just wanted to thank you guys so much for the support. Like, I have one video and I already have 100 subscribers. That, guys, wow. Thank you so much for support, guys. I honestly expected like 10 views, 3 likes, and maybe 1 subscriber, but the fact that you guys gave me 3,000 views in my first video is just wild. Thank you guys so much. I'm very much grateful for the support. The only reason I haven't uploaded in a whole month is because I did not expect this. I did not expect people to actually watch the video. But again, guys, thank you so much for your support. Like, I had no idea that you guys would actually like my content. That's wild. But yeah, this is Mouth of Talks. Have a good one.